Anyway, we have this table, we're showing it and everything like that, and I've already explained that there are 4 states, 4 functionalities in any website. And again, if we were to look at these websites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, well, Instagram is more an application. They call them web applications, whatever. Technical terms, don't care. Anyway, if you look at them, you notice that more or less there would be read and creations. Half of the CRUD. You can't really delete your comment. I mean, you could sort of delete your Twitter comments, I think, and that's about it. But you don't really have a chance to update them. When you typically post something, you're screwed, and maybe you can go back and put a star in the correction of the word or whatever, but you can't actually update. We don't want a website where we can't update what we put in, so now we have to learn how to update. This is actually going to be 2 parts of something, because there are two ideas that we need to really grasp here when it comes to updating. And one of them is, we've already mentioned these variables. Again, this is reading off a server or a folder off your computer. But we need to tell the address, the URL, to go to a specific place. We can't just edit all these things at once. It doesn't make sense. We need to update them by going to a specific place. So we're going to take out this time. I hope you guys know or see enough about time that we can change this. So let's not have time here. Where do I put it? This is fine. This is fine. Okay, so it's just this. So let's get this out of here, and let's instead make a link. Okay, we know how to do links. We know how to do anchor tags. What do you think we are, amateurs? What are we? Homo sapiens? You're right. And since we don't have any kind of functionality, but we can make later on, but we don't have it now, that we just put in a certain thing or whatever, or a certain sequence, and it could get us to a page, we have to put in the whole thing. So let's put in the whole thing. Let's go localhost tutorial practice, and let's make a new page. We'll call it update.php. But now update what? We're only updating one thing at a time, right? We're not updating 2 or 3 or whatever. We're updating one thing at a time. The only way that it will distinguish, remember we were talking about IDs. This is where IDs come in handy. Because the only way we're going to distinguish one from another is we need to have an ID to reference based off of what we're getting from the table each and every line. Now, when it comes to URL variables, and we know variables now because we're using PHP, we've done some stuff with variables in CSS and JavaScript, and it's been a term we've used a lot. The only way that you can tell the server to go to a place and give it a variable so it knows what to look for is you go question mark, then you put in the variable. So the question mark separates the address from the variable. And the variable we're going to use now is, we're going to call it, let's call it I. And we'll say equals, and now we're going to have to bust out of this tomato with our quotes. Make sure you close those quotes, and we concatenate, right? And then we're going to go FSID. So this way it knows that I equals this ID based on what line in the array that we extracted this information from it is. Okay? So this is the only thing that you haven't seen before. Now, there may be some sites that you will still see the question mark. Typically, if you go to, let's go to YouTube and let's look at one of my videos, because, you know, it's me and I'm the best. If I were to go to this, now you might hear my thing, but if I were to go to this, let me pause this. If you look here, see, question mark V equals, what this is, it's YouTube's way of going, this is the website, this is the subtext, the watch, and now we're reading the input through this question mark V, so V is the variable, and it equals this sequence. This sequence, and I'm not trying to give away your secrets, YouTube, so don't block me. This sequence here is the random number or ID or index that's given to this video that I posted just yesterday. See how it works? So that's what we're doing here. We're telling it, okay, look for a variable called I, and in that I, reference it through the ID of this line. So if it's, let's save that, if it's whatever line Jack Mehoff is, where are you, Jack? Oh, right here. Hey, Jack, how the kids, Jack? If it were this line, it's ID 16. Now, you could do a random generated, and we'll do some random stuff later, but you could do a random generated index so that it's not giving away the ID number, or you can index the username or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just as long as it knows, like we could do u equals username, but since we didn't allow, since we've allowed any username to be redone a million times, which you wouldn't do, we can't reference the username because it'll be like for CD Bookman and it'll just go to the first one. And if the first one's not what we're looking for, then we're not gonna get the one we want. So we're gonna do ID. It's our little tutorial. It's nothing major. Let me see if I got that right. So if you look now, oh, I didn't put a link in there. We'll type in edit, right? So now if we look now, we have edit, and if we go here, you could see, hold on. How come it's not echoing out my ID? Did I do this wrong? Let me see. Maybe I don't need this. I need that though. That might be it. Yeah, if you look, I put, yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so don't put that. I forgot. This quote, since I put, I mean, it's good that I make these mistakes for you because if you made them, then you wouldn't know what to do. If I put that here, then I'm closing off this address. And then everything else is just completely meaningless. So let's do that. So now, again, if we hit, you hit refresh, if you see down there, and I put too many localhosts. Let's get the localhost out here then. Just go tutorial like that. The beauty of loops. If you look here, you'll see that we have down there, it's saying tutorial practice update.php's question mark I equals 16. However, we don't have an update.php file, so we gotta make an update.php file. Oh boy, see the things you have to worry about. We go to practice, go to new file, and we'll go update.php. Now, we're not done yet, right? Okay, so it knows to go to I equals 16, but what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. And if I were to start putting in our header, if I were to start doing this, and I went title equals update, and I were to say, and we could put in like, you know, ID or whatever. Okay, what does that mean? And if I were to say include header head.php, we're going to get an error message because we don't have a variable ID. What are we referencing? Okay, we're referencing the 16th index, but we haven't done anything here to assure that we're doing the 16th index or we're getting the 16th index. That is where get variables come in handy. Before we do any of this declaration, we have to say get. We have to get something from here. We have to get the I. And what we do is we go ID equals get, remember the get variable we mentioned before, and we index I. That's this. We're going to index I, and now you see update 16. See? Because we indexed the I in this get, and that's the 16th. Now, we don't have to just go that. Now, again, if you wanted to, in order to make sure no one's hacking you, you can do HTML special characters. You can wrap that into strip slashes. You could do all that cleaning up here as well, so that people can't put any malicious intent in there. And as you can see, it's not doing it because it's still just the ID of 16. But you want to make sure people don't put like, slash select all, whatever, and it'll just send you to some, it doesn't do anything. It puts slashes in there or whatever, or it puts like, HTML characters, what have you. So you could, oh no, I don't want that, go here. So you could just do that, but don't forget, we have an ID, we have 16. You can see it here, we have this. So after we get it, what we can do, we have the ID now, we can then run a query to get the information that's already in there. And that is, of course, we've done queries before. So we'll say update equals con. Actually, do it after. I'm sorry. Do it after we include the header. Let's get this out of here. Do it after we include this. We go update equals con prepare select all from testing where that keyword ID equals, and then in single quotes or double quotes if you made these single, ID. And then we'll prepare that and then we'll execute them all. And then from there, we can then info equals update fetch all. And we'll get all the different pieces of information. Now here you can also do just a simple fetch PDO, fetch ASOC. It doesn't matter because we're only getting one entry. So you don't have to it's not a big loop. We can do one. And then we'll print out what that looks like here. I'll show you what that looks like here. We'll make our div equals update wrapper. And here we'll just print F. Or print R, I'm sorry. So like this. Forgot my PHPs. Print R info. Okay? Nothing earth-shattering, nothing you haven't seen before. And this is the array that we have, ID 16, username. So the reason why we want to do it this way with just a single entry is, as you can see, now we can use the index that is given here, as opposed to having to do, oh yeah, I haven't, okay, hold on. Where's my title? Title. I don't have a title. Where are you getting your title from? We can index. What the hell are you talking about? I didn't put a title in, you cock. That's interesting. We can index everything based off of the name of the index as opposed to the number and all that, like we did before. It's really not a big deal. Again, it's one line. We don't need anything else. So now what we can do is we can go title equals, oh, okay, now I know why it's warning, because I already put in there that we have to have a title. My fault. Title equals update, and we can put in concatenate info username. And now, when we look at the title, which problem? Wait, hold on. Oh, okay. No. It's. Let me look at my head for a second. Look at my head. Yeah, the title's here. So, what are you bitching about? If I include it. Let me try something here. So give me this warning. I I have to include this first. I'm going to ignore that for now. But anyway. So now what are we at in terms of time? 15 minutes. Okay, we can do this quick. So now we can make a form, right? And method equals post. We'll do the action equals, and we'll use our server PHP self. And we'll echo that out, of course. And now, at this point, what we can do is we can have our inputs. And now, because we have all this information from the associative array, we can say value equals, and then we can echo out username, and we'll give it a name of username, and we'll BR that, and we'll say text value equals info text place, name equals text place, right? And type, input type value equals text, and we'll say value equals info price. I mean, I should be putting semicolons in all this just for good practice. It's only one line, so you don't need it. It knows where it stops, but you should put that in there. Price, and that's all we need. We don't need anything else. The date is automatic, so we don't need to put anything in there. Okay? And then, of course, we need a submit. Name equals update. Value equals update. And once we're done with that, as you can see, we have pretty much what we had before, only now we already have information in there. So there you go. And all we need to do now is update it. Well, you can do the same checks up here that you did before. We can go in here and we can say it's the same thing as this. We can say if server request method, we can do all that stuff. And when let me see, what time are we on? How long did that take me? Come on. Okay, so we'll stop here. When I come back, we will finish this, and then we'll go into a deletion. And I will see you then.